Namo Namaha Bhaktam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And again, continuing in our series Learning Sanskrit through Gita. Today we are decoding the 36th shloka of the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. And again, same context, same person who is speaking, Arjuna, and same emotions, everything. So we just have to start decoding the shloka from Sanskrit point of view. So without wasting any more time, let me quickly dive in today's video. So this is the shloka for today, and let me go through the shloka once. निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्याज्जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयैदस्मान् हत्वैतानात् तायिनः. So very interestingly, you can already see that this second line of the shloka, this all the words are combined into a single line, and upon sandhi vichhed you can see all the individual words that are present. So papamevashrayidasman hatvaitanat tayinah, this line on sandhi vichhed reveals papam ev ashrayait asman hatva etan atatayinah. So actually incidents like this intimidate a lot of those people who are just starting in Sanskrit. But again, when we break it down, it is never as intimidating as it looks like. So papamev, you can already see that you can combine these words, right? There is a half consonant and then there is a vowel. So papamev, it combines together as papamev. It is just that this consonant ma is getting a vowel. So it is changing into me. And that is what is happening, papamev. And then when you combine this word, so the entire word becomes papamevashrayait. But here a sandhi is happening, because here you can see you have a the, but in the actual word you have a ta. And we have already covered this sandhi before. This is a jashtu sandhi. That ta is changing into the. Why? Because there is a mridyu vyanjan afterwards. So ashrayaid. But then this ashrayed, it is further combining with asman normally, like a half consonant combines with a vowel. So ashrayed asman, that is becoming. Then hatwa is further combining with asman. So again, a simple combination, because you have a half consonant and then you have a full consonant. So it is just half consonant combining with the full. And that is what is happening here. Okay. Then again here, let me clear that first. Here again, there is one sandhi that is happening. This sandhi is called vriddhi sandhi. Again, we have covered this sandhi, that a plus a, sorry about that, that horrible a, but you get an I. And that is what is happening here. Hatva etan, it is becoming hatvaitan. And then this word is further combining with atatayinaha. So hatvaitanat tayinaha. And this is how all these individual words are combining into a single line. But see, once we have broken down, we can already see that it is not as difficult as it sounds. It is just a matter of practice and everything, and you start to see what all individual words are present in such complex one word that you very often will encounter in Sanskrit. But again, all the sandhis that are happening in the shloka are available in the PDF file. You can download the PDF file from the link in the description box. It have all the sandhi details. It also have all the word by word decoding of the shloka, so that in case I miss out anything in the video, keep this PDF file handy with you for your later references, for your revisions, and for understanding the shloka in your own time, in your own free time. So I will not touch up further on that. Let us start decoding the shloka now. So we are starting with this ka syat. So ka syat is coming from here. Ka syat. Nihatya dhat rashtraananah ka priti syat. So we are taking these two words together. Why? I'll just explain in a minute. But first let us understand this word syat. So syat comes from the dhatu, the verb root as, to be. And this dhatu as, the most common form of this dhatu is asti. It is. Balakaha sundara asti. The boy is beautiful. Okay. And in plural, you have santi. So this is the most common use of this dhatu as, to be. Okay. And this verb form syat, this is this dhatu as in third person singular and vidhiling lakar. So we don't very often use this lakar, vidhiling lakar. This is actually the potential mood. So vidhiling lakar potential mood is simply when there is a strong possibility of that action happening somewhere in the future. So whenever we have the condition like would be or could be. So suppose I am using vidhiling lakar with a familiar dhatu, pat. Pat means to study. And if I use a vidhiling lakar, so the form will actually mean that the person would study, the person could study, that there is a possibility, there is this potentiality. That is why we call it potential mood, that there is a potentiality that this action will happen. To denote that, we use vidhiling lakar. So As, that is to be, and I am using vidling lakar. Why? Because I want to convey would be. That something would be, something would happen, something would become. And what is that would be, we'll see further in the shloka, but that is how we are starting, and that is the meaning of syat. Okay, so as dhatu and vidling lakar is important. Potentiality. Actually, we use vidling lakar just also like lot lakar. Lot lakar, imperative mood. So whenever we are giving an order or we are making a request, we use lot lakar imperative mood. This very commonly we use in Sanskrit shlokas. Vidling lakar is also used a lot of times in place of lot lakar for that exact same thing, to make a request or to give order. But this potentiality is another feature of this vidling lakar, this potential mood, that when there is a strong possibility of something that will happen in the future, to denote that we use vidling lakar. Okay, that is a use. And this word ka, so this is simply coming from our question pronoun kim. So we have this pronoun no, kim, who or what, right? And this ka is in the feminine form, because in masculine form we already know it is kah, and in neuter gender form we already know it is kim, and in feminine gender form it is ka. So very obviously, this pronoun is referring to some feminine gender noun. In further in the shloka, we will find out. But this is what it is. Ka syat, that means what would be. That is how we are starting the shloka. Again, when we'll decode further, you will understand the context also. But I hope the words and their meanings are clear. Okay, so now see the entire statement, and that is what you find in the shloka also. Ka priti hi syat. So, ka syat, we have already know the meaning. Priti. First, let us understand this meaning. Priti comes from the pratipadik, the same only, priti, and this means happiness or satisfaction. Okay, and this is the feminine gender pratipadik. So you already know that this pronoun ka must be pointing to some feminine gender noun. That is why we are writing it as ka, feminine gender. And that is that feminine gender noun, preeti. So preeti and ikarant pratipadik, this means happiness or satisfaction. It is a feminine gender noun. Okay. And obviously preeti. So here it is being used in first word case and singular, ekvachan form. Prathama vibhakti, ekvachan form. Okay, but ka priti hi syat. So, what is the meaning of this line? This line simply means that what happiness would be, what happiness could be. So, with this line, Arjuna is saying some dialogue before this line also that we will decode further in the shloka, but there is something that they need to do. But once they do it, then Arjuna is contemplating that ka priti hi syat, that what happiness or what satisfaction would be if we do that thing. Okay, and now we have the question Kesham or whose. That what happiness would be, but whose happiness you are talking about. Arjuna is talking about whose happiness. And nah. This word also we are continuously seeing in all the previous shlokas. This na again is coming from this pratipadik only, no? Asmat. Asmat again is the first person pronoun. Whenever I, me, we, directly referring to the speaker. So first person pronoun asmat. This is the sixth case plural. And again in all the previous shlokas also we are having the same use only, naha. So sixth case singular of this asmat we are very familiar with, mam. Mam, that means my. And when we are talking about all of us, so we obviously use the plural. So that means ours. Okay, and that is this naha. Okay, one very other common word for this ours is also asmakam. This. So naha and asmakam both means the same thing. Sixth case plural of asmat, that means ours. So in all, naha ka preeti hi syat. So Arjuna is saying that once we attain certain result, still what happiness would ours be? What happiness would that achieve? That is how he is contemplating the entire situation. Basically, he means that it will not yield any good result. That naha ka preeti hi syat. That what happiness ours would be after attaining that. And that same thing is reflected in the shloka also, that kim kritva, that he means this, but after doing what? Having done what? So dharta rashtrana nihatya simply means after killing Dhritarashtra people, or that is Kaurva people. Simple as that. Let us understand this word first, nihatya. So nihatya comes from the dhatu han. That means to kill. We have already seen this dhatu in the previous shlokas. Han means to kill. And since I want to say after killing or having killed, so we already know that what kind of suffix we use? We use twa suffix to modify this dhatu han. That will denote that after doing that action, having done that action. But here we are not using twa. Instead, we are using the exact similar kind of suffix we also have, that is lyap. And again, all of these things we have covered before also. So twa suffix and lyap suffix, they do exactly the same thing. That they change the meaning of the dhatu into meaning after doing the action, having done the action. And why we are not using twa? Because in this form nihatya, we have a prefix attached with the dhatu. And that is what the condition is, that whenever you have just the dhatu, so we modify it using twa. But whenever we have a prefix upsarga attached with the dhatu, then instead of using twa, we use lyap instead. Okay, and that is what we are doing here. So this han dhatu along with the prefix ni, this is getting modified using lyap suffix, and the resultant word is nihatya. This is the resultant word, nihatya, simply meaning the same thing, after killing or having killed. And having killed who? So dhartarashtrana. And again we have seen this word also, Dhartarashtra, a lot of time in previous shlokas. Dhartarashtra simply means descendants of Dhritarashtra, sons of Dhritarashtra. But in the context of the shloka, you know it means Kaurva people in general. In general, all the Kaurva people, the opposite army of Pandava army, whom they are fighting. So, Dhartarashtran, this is obviously the second case, plural. Why? Because the action, nihatya, is being done on them. So, this noun is the karma, the object. That is why this is in Dutiya Vibhakti plural. So Dhartarashtra changing into Dhartarashtrana. So now if we'll read the entire line together, Dhartarashtrana Nihatya, that after killing Dhritarashtra people or having killed Kaurava people, Nah ka priti hi syat. What happiness would ours be? And this is totally reflecting the mood of Arjuna. That is consistent from previous shlokas also. He is in so much melancholy, so much grief. And so he is saying all these things. That futility of killing, that having killed all those people also, nothing satisfaction, no happiness will we achieve. That is what he is saying through this line also. Okay, that is the context so far, and let us move on. So now we are starting with another verb, ashrayet. And ashrayet simply means would be served or would be accrued. So this accrued, this essentially means that you will attain that thing. So something that is credited to you, in that sense you can think that something will be credited to you. So would be accrued, it will be credited to you, would be served. So they say no, that the justice was served, that justice was delivered, in that sense would be served or would be accrued. Ashrayet, let us understand this word. So ashrayet, this particular form comes from the dhatu shri, and shri means to serve or to accrue, obviously. And again, what we saw before also with the as dhatu, same thing is happening here also. That this particular dhatu is in third person, singular and vidling lakar, potential mood. Because there is a chance, high chance of this thing happening in the future. And that is why we are using the potential mood. Would be, could be. And that is what is happening here. That ashrayet, this simply means would be served or would be accrued. That is what the possibility of it happening in the future. Okay, so that is what we are starting with. And obviously the question will be that what would be served, Kim? And the response is papam eva ashrayet. So papam ashrayet. Pap, obviously a lot of you will know. Pap, this simply means sin. Okay, sin, very English term, sin. So that will take for the translation, okay. Pap simply means sin. Sin would be accrued. Sin would be served. You will attain to sin. That is what Arjuna means. And he is emphasizing this point by using ev. Ev simply means only. Only. Or in Hindi, you say no, he. That paap hi milega. So essentially what Arjuna is saying, that aisa karoge to paap hi bhogoge. And if you will do that, whatever he has described in the previous slide, if you will do that, only sin will be served. Only sin would be served, or you would only accrue sins. That is what he's saying. You will only attain to the sin. You will only gain sin in your karma balance. That is what he's mentioning here. But I hope you got the why we are using potential mood with ling lakar. This is a very proper use of why we are using potential mood, because if a normal present tense, if this dhatu shri we are using in a normal present tense, so it simply changes into shrayati. That he shrayati, he serves. But here we want to show that potentiality, that it would be served, it would be accrued. That is why we are using the vidhiling lakar, potential mood. Okay. And if we'll move further, so again, the obvious question, that this sin will be accrued, will be served to who? And again, he's saying Asman. Obviously, that it will be served to us. Because he is talking about himself only, himself and all the Pandava people, that if we are going to kill them, we would only attain sin. That is what he means to say. So, again, he is using the first person pronoun only, Asmat, that same pronoun. And this Asman is the second case plural. Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachan. So papamev asman ashrayet. Only sins would be accrued to us if we do this wrong act as per Arjuna. But again, we have the description also that having done what? Having done what, the sins would be accrued to us. So let us see. Hatva, having killed, we are only sins will be accrued to us. But okay, let us open that also, that having killed who? And we already know he's talking about Kuru people, Kaurva people. But etan hatva. Etan, these people. So again, we saw this word in the previous shloka also. Etan, this is coming from the pronoun etad. Etad is this person. But here he is talking about all these Kaurva people whom he has already mentioned a lot of times in the previous shloka, and since this is a continuation, so he is just saying these people whom he has already mentioned before. So these people essentially means Kaurva people only. Etan, again you can guess, second case plural. So Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachan of Etat changes into Etan. So having killed Etan Hatva, having killed these people, obviously referring to Kaurva people, only sins would be accrued. This is the entire meaning of the sentence. And again, how he is describing these people. So in the previous shloka we saw that he described these people as Gnataha. So Gnata meant all those people who are themselves killing, who are themselves involved in the act of killing. And there he used Gnata. Why? Because again he wanted to prove that how adamant he is for not killing them. That he said that even though they are killing me, even though they are killing others, still I don't want to kill them. And again here he is going a bit overboard when he is saying that these people are Atatayinaha. And Atatayinaha, this comes, let us understand this word. Atatayinaha, this comes from the Pratipadik Atatayin. Atatayin, this a nakarant word ending with a na. And this Atatayinaha is obviously, since it is an adjective, right? Since it is describing etan, these people, how Arjuna is describing them, these people. So since this is an adjective, this is also taking the same. Dutiya Vibhakti, second case plural. And a nakarant word Atatayin in second case plural changes into Atatayinaha. So that is what is happening here. But this word Atatayin, this essentially means someone who unnecessarily harms or kill others. So some people are hurting others, killing others, even murdering others without any reason. So that is how he is describing these people. And that is how adamant, or you can say that that is how overboard Arjuna has gone with his emotions. That he is come to this point and he is saying that even though these people are atatayina, even though these people hurt others or kill others without any reason, still I don't want to kill them. Why? Because if we kill them, he thinks that if we kill them, only sin only ashrayat, sin only would be accrued, would be served to us. Okay, and if you'll see along with the translation, so Janardana, okay, so Janardana again is just another name of Shri Krishna. So, O Krishna is using the same Sambodhan case, that expressing, addressing with an expression, O Krishna, O Janardhan. So that is how he's starting. Janardhan, or O Krishna, Dhartarashtran Nihatya, after killing the Kaurva people, Naha ka pritihi syat. What happiness or satisfaction would be ours? That is what he said in the first line. And then he continued that Atatayanaha etan hatva, having killed these Atatayana, that is mischievous people, very immoral people, Papamev asman ashrayat, only sin, Papamev, only sin would be accrued to us, would be served to us. So that is what Arjuna is meaning by this entire shloka. And with each consecutive shloka, you can see that Arjuna is just becoming more and more desperate to prove his point. And again, in this shloka, you can clearly see that he is going completely contradictory to what Dharma Shastra tell us. Our Dharma Shastra clearly states that if a person is atatayan, that if a person harms or kill other without any reason, just for the fun of it, if such is the person, and if you kill that person, you will incur no sin at all. because you are doing nothing wrong. This is very clearly stated in Dharma Shastra. And Krishna already knows this thing. That is why he is right now being so patient. He is just giving full time to Arjuna that you go on and speak whatever you want to say. Just go on and continue speaking. Just let it all out. So that is what is happening. That Arjuna, in desperation to prove his point that why fighting this war is futile and everything, he has gone to this level also. That he is saying that even though these are Atatayan people, even though these are people who hurt or kill others without any reason, still I don't want to kill them, because if I'll kill them, I will incur sin. So in a way, very selfish act, and in a way, a completely non-dharmic act. But again, this is what the journey is for Arjuna in Gita, and this is what is being reflected in these shlokas. So with every consecutive shloka, we are going to find very interesting new thing contextually. But yeah, that was it. That was the entire decoding of the shloka. Very interestingly, we saw a single dhatu, han dhatu, that was being modified in the same sense after killing or having killed. But both of the times we were using completely different suffixes. For the first, nihatya, we were using lyap suffix. Why? Because there was a prefix, an upsarga attached to han, ni plus han. So we were using lyap suffix to change it into nihatya. But the second time we used the usual format, hatva. Han dhatu being modified using twa suffix. That to express the meaning having killed, after killing. So we saw the use of both those suffixes and why and when we use them. So that is why in every shloka, very interestingly, we are going to find something that will aid a better understanding of Sanskrit grammar, Sanskrit vocabulary. Vocabulary obviously is increasing with each shloka. With each shloka, we are learning new words. So vocabulary is already increasing a lot, and grammar wise also we are again repeating these concepts. So these concepts are reinforcing in our brains, sandhi, and how we see the word cases, vibhakti, and everything. So all the shlokas very interesting, and you may not realize, but all these shlokas are building your Sanskrit understanding in the back end. In the back end, these shlokas are doing what they are supposed to do, improving your Sanskrit abilities. So that is why I say that stick with these videos. Do download those PDF files, because once you have seen the videos, go through those PDF files also. Try to read and understand the shloka again with your own understanding, and everything is given in the PDF file. So all these shlokas are going to help you definitely, I hope, in your journey of Sanskrit learning. Having said that, I'll meet you in the next video, in the next shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy, keep learning. Vayam puna milamaha. Dhanyavad.